Aloha! Welcome to this week's video. So this week I'm going to be making two more Pahoa, Hawaiian style daggers. These ones are, the two that I'm going to be making are a little bit different than the ones that I made last time. So the ones that I previously made were marlin bill tipped, so they had a marlin bill at the tip of the Pahoa. The two that I'm making here are going to be full wood. One of them is going to be a little bit more traditional style. This is the first one, and then the second one is going to be have a shark tooth edge. So the first thing that I did here is I just cleaned off some of that wood. So this is live edge wood. It is koa wood, and I'm going to be splicing it in two, which actually made a really pretty matchbook. A matchbook is when you cut a piece in two, so you have two mirror images of itself. They use it for guitars and stuff like that. I'm not a guitar maker or ukulele maker, so not one of my skill sets. So we're just sketching out the rough shape of each pahoa. And they're going to be probably medium-sized, small to medium-sized. I have made larger ones, but these are going to be a little bit smaller. The first one that I drew is the tooth-edged one, and the second one that I'm drawing there is the one that's going to be for more of the traditional look. I went ahead and cut them out on the bandsaw, and I'm going to go and start shaping. One thing that I noticed is that they have beautiful spalting on the edges, which is really nice. That's going to look really pretty when you go to oil it. The first one I'm going to start working on is the traditional shape. So the traditional shape Pahoa is more of a dagger, is more of a like a stabbing weapon. It did have an edge to it, but it really wasn't used for cutting or slicing, especially when fighting with a combatant in Hawaii. They would use it for stabbing. So you'd get into close combat, you're attacking someone, and you would have this on your side, or you'd grab it and you could stab it into their kidney or their side, or into their neck, soft areas, and it's just a puncture weapon. Now, because of the edge wood that's on this and on the other one, you probably wouldn't actually want to take these two into battle. The edge wood's a little bit soft, which would make the whole thing a little bit brittle. Normally you'd use heartwood and the inner rings of the koa, or hardwood that you're using. So those inner rings are going to be a lot more dense and a lot more sturdy and be able to handle the impact a lot better. The edgewood still can, and it was used, but this specific edgewood had a little bit of spalting and a little bit of wood rot, and so it's a softer wood. But I really loved the color and the way that the contrast of the edgewood was with the other parts of the koa. It looked really beautiful. In fact, you can even see on this one, it has a little bit of the spalting goes along the blade, the edge, and it almost makes it look like a hamon or a damascus or one of those types. I've only thought about it 1,000 times and trying to think of a way I can make a either a pahoa or a leomano or any type of wood weapon, but make it look like a damascus or gasmai or one of those metalworking, knife-making types. Those are really cool. I really like them. Still haven't figured out a good way to do it. This natural spalting here is just kind of the closest that I get for now. The spalting is those dark lines that you see. So you can see it on the bottom right hand one, the dark lines that go along the blade. On the one I'm working now, you can see the separation between the light green and the dark green wood, and there's that dark line that's kind of going across. So that line is spalting. What creates spalting is fungus. Actually, it gets inside of the tree and it grows in between the rings. You can I've seen people actually artificially make it. I say artificially as in they didn't find it. They soaked the wood and then stabilized it after, and they were able to create some spalting in the wood. It was really cool. This is natural. It just came on the piece of branch that this piece of koa wood came from, and I was really surprised by it. I wasn't expecting it. You couldn't see it from the outside. It wasn't really until I started working on the piece that I really started to see the figure and the spalting come out, and man, it was really pretty. I was really excited to get to oiling it. So all I'm doing here is I'm just taking them kind of one step at a time each. So I'm sanding them both down. I'll be sanding them down to 320, I'm actually going to sand these ones down to 400 just because of the grain of the wood was really pretty. Once I've got them down to 320, I'm going to go ahead and cut in the groove for the shark tooth edged Pahoa, and I'm going to be using tiger shark teeth. Tiger shark teeth work really good for this type of weapon. The tiger shark teeth have that natural serrated edge and a curve to it, and so when you pull across or slash, they cut really, really well. So I'm using the same method that I do for just about everything. I put a little bit of epoxy in. I put a little bit more on this one just because I cut the grooves a little bit deep, but not so much that they're swimming in the epoxy, but just enough that they can do it. I actually ended up breaking a tooth. I haven't done that in a while, and then my camera died, so you don't get to see me fix it. That second tooth there I went to put in, I snapped it in half. It had a crack. So the teeth are real tiger shark teeth, and occasionally they do have internal cracks, and that can cause them to be brittle and they'll snap. Most of them are pretty solid. I usually drill it into, or I try to tap my hole in the root of the tooth, not in the enamel, so that the enamel has a good solid structure all the way through. I've just noticed that if I tap it through the root versus the enamel, it's a lot stronger, and it can take quite a bit more damage before it'll break. And I've done quite a bit with these. I mean, I've hammered them into my desk. I've done a lot of testing, and they've been very, very stout. Very impressed. The last thing I'm going to do before I oil it is I'm going to be cleaning out just some of that remainder epoxy, just cleaning up the edges, and then I'm going to be sanding them with the 420, or not 420, but 400. So this is 400 grit. I'm just hand sanding with the 400 grit, mainly because I don't have any disc sanders that are 400. But I don't mind it. I like hand sanding on occasion. It can be a little bit relaxing. I am going to be putting in a lashing, but I'll be doing that after I oil them up. So I was really excited for this moment. Definitely one of my favorite pieces to oil recently. The curl and the compress. So these had a compression curl. So what that means is that the actual wood was compressed, and so if you were to look closely at the grain, it wouldn't be straight. It would be wavy. It was compressed, and so they had a curl as a result of compression, and then also the spalting that went along the spine and on the handle of this piece. And man, it just made for beautiful, beautiful wood. One of the things I love about koa wood is just how different pieces can look. It definitely doesn't have a standard look to it. Now there is a familiar look to koa. I can usually recognize it when I see it, but it just comes in so many different colors that it is a surprise. You can really see there. So you can see the curl on the handle, the compression curl, the grain as it waves, and then the spalting, those black lines. Oh man, it's an absolutely beautiful piece. I was really excited for this piece. Really pleased with the way that it looked. Now this one has all that spalting's on the handle, so that one probably would make pretty good testing. I decided as I was going through it that I wasn't going to test with these, just because of the soft wood. I didn't want to risk splintering or breaking the wood. While I'm oiling up this one, I just want to take a minute. I'm not going to be pushing out a video next week. I'm going to be out of town. I'm actually going to be doing the Tough Mudder race. I do that every year with my brothers. We haven't done it since COVID. It's the first year that we've been able to go back and do it, so I'm super excited. But I do have some really exciting videos coming up. So I'm going to be making a traditional style leo mano with a little bit of my influences in it, but I'm going to be doing some awesome tests with that. I got my hands on some arrows and a bow. So I've gotten throughout since I started doing this on YouTube, I've gotten comments on, hey, would shark teeth make good on arrows? Would they make good on arrows? And so I finally got some arrows, and I got a bow, and so I'm going to be making some shark tooth arrows coming up here in the future. And then I'm also making my first Tongan war club, and I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a smaller war club, but I'm very excited about it. If you like the videos, let me know. Go ahead and like and subscribe. It really helps out a lot. If you'd like to see anything special, put it in the comments below. Again, I appreciate everyone's support, and I'm humbled that I have this many people watching it, and it's very exciting. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, so I'll see you next time. Aloha.